Operating the boat. The boat is really dead simple to operate. Turning the engine on and off is about as simple as turning your car on and off and works about the same way. The throttle has forward, reverse, and neutral. And that's it. It goes 6 miles an hour at top speed, so think about that. Steering is interesting, although you won't need to do a lot because a great deal of the canal is just straight. You can't just lash down the tiller though and go get a cup of coffee. You do need to hold on to the tiller and make minute adjustments so that you keep going straight. The way the tiller works is interesting. It works like all tillers connected to a rudder. It pushes the back of the boat in the direction opposite the way you want to go. So you are going to push the tiller in the direction opposite the way you want the boat to go. If you want the boat to go left, you push the tiller to the right, and so forth. Water and electric power. You'll be replenishing both of these daily, probably, and in just about every town you stop at, there are water and power stanchions. And here's how to use them. In the bow of the boat, under one of the bow seats, is a normal garden hose. And you go up on the dock and you screw one end of it into the faucet on the stanchion, and you bring the other end down to the hole in the water tank, which is also under one of the bow seats. You ideally have someone on the dock turning the water on, and you just let it run until it runs up to the top and over, and then you turn it off and unhook the hose, put it back, and you're done. On our boat, there was a thick yellow electrical cord stored under the stairs down to the back of the boat, and you plugged one end of that into the throttle stanchion in the receptacle there, and the other end into the receptacle on the power and water stanchion on the dock, and you left it in all night and you were good to go in the morning. Regarding the power and water stanchions, remember each one of them has a light in most towns on the top of it, and that burns all night, which is handy if you need to find it. But if you happen to pull a boat up so that your bedroom window is right next to that stanchion, that light's going to shine in your window all night, so just be aware. There's an anchor on the boat, again underneath one of the bow seats, and you can throw that out at night if you're not in a town and lie at anchor. There's also tent stakes and a hammer that are provided so that you can actually tie up to the stakes that you pound into the ground on the shoreline. You shouldn't need to do this. Even the most rudimentary planning will get you to a town every night. But if you do, you need to be careful of your water and skip those long showers and find a town fairly soon to replenish your water. You can replenish your power by revving the engine for 10 to 15 minutes, and they'll show you how to do that during orientation. You'll have enough fuel to last you the whole week or more. When you're driving the boat, it's pretty essential that you have the map with you and a cup of coffee, and there's no place to put either. So we put the map on our lap, which was uncomfortable and inconvenient, and the coffee cup on the floor, which resulted in us kicking it over twice on the trip. The canal experience. So, what do you do for a week on a canal boat? Well, you can think of what you might do, say, in a beach house. You can read, you can knit or crochet, you can nap, you can sun yourself on the roof. You can swim. We are told the water is drinkable, so it's certainly swimmable. It is muddy, though, because the bottom of the canal is mostly mud. You can also watch birds. That was great. We saw hawks and kestrels and kingfishers, ducks, lots of ducks near the town mostly, dozens and dozens of great blue herons. Almost every few minutes, one would be taking off from the shoreline, flying down the canal, alighting in a tree and watching us go by, and a few minutes later, there would be the next one. It was just awesome. You can drive. It's interesting. Some people took to driving and others didn't. Driving, I found to be very relaxing and very interesting watching the canal go by. I spent a lot of time fantasizing about the early days of the canal and also trying to figure out the hydrology as the docks and the guard gates and the sluices and the spill-offs went by, just trying to think about how this whole thing worked. They drain the canal every fall and then they fill it back in the spring, which is incredible. How do they do that? If you look carefully and think about it and observe as you're driving during your week on the canal, I'll bet that you can figure out how it's done. You can bring games to play. Remember board games, card games? We had a good time playing games on the bow table, and you can also use the kitchen table. You can work. One of my sons spent a lot of time on the boat working remotely. We used a cell phone Wi-Fi hotspot, and since we got great cell reception throughout, he could be on the internet working remotely, connecting with his office in San Francisco without any trouble at all. You can have friends over. If you have any friends in the area or family, they'd love to come down and take a look at the boat. Tell them when you'll be at a certain town and invite them over. We did this for 3 nights and it was great. And of course, you can ride your bikes. Everyone we met along the canal was very friendly, cheerful, and helpful, especially the lockmasters and the dockmasters in the towns, the lift bridge operators, and of course everyone at Mid-Lakes at all times. No one's going to yell at you if you make a sloppy entrance into a lock. The canal system's really a recreational waterway, and you're the customer. Something we discovered that other folks might want to be prepared for. The double bed that we used was very hard to make, as in making a bed. Your feet go into a little alcove under a storage area, and so it's really hard to get down in there to make the bed. Also, the person sleeping on the side away from the aisle, the hallway, has to be pretty agile to get out of bed if the other person is still in bed. It's kind of an athletic activity. And so that's our experience. As you can tell, we really had a ball. So if you're even remotely interested, we encourage you to learn more about the canal, give Mid-Lakes a call, send us an email if you have any question about our experience or what we learned, and happy boating.
We were 40 miles from Albany, forget it I never shall. What a terrible storm we had one night on Erie Canal.
Oh, the Erie was a-rising, and the gin was a-getting low, and I scarcely think we'll get a drink till we get to Buffalo, till we get to Buffalo.
The barge was full of barley, and the crew was full of rye. The captain, he looked down on me with a dadgum wicked eye.
Oh, the Erie was a-rising, and the gin was a-getting low, and I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo, till we get to Buffalo.
Well, the captain, he stood up on deck with a spyglass in his hand, and the fog, it was so doggone thick that he couldn't spy the land.
Oh, the Erie was a-rising, and the gin was a-getting low, and I scarcely think we're gonna get a little drink till we get to Buffalo, till we get to Buffalo.
Now, 2 days out from Syracuse, the vessel struck a shoal. We like to all been foundered on a chunk-a-lacka-wanna coal.
Oh, the Erie was a-rising,